Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Natalie from the Institutional Banking team in Australia, and thank you for joining me for this Holiday Planning ANZ Transactive Global Tips for the Festive Season webinar. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you from Perth, Western Australia, the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. I would also acknowledge the traditional owners on the various lands of which you are joining from today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any Indigenous peoples from the various lands joining us today. Our training webinars are designed to help you unlock the full potential and get the most out of ANZ Transactive Global, our digital web and mobile banking channel. Through a single interface, you can access common services such as cash management, trade finance, loans, commercial cards, foreign exchange, and data insights. In this session, I will be sharing suggestions for using ANZ Transactive Global during the festive season, with a particular focus on payment processing and approvals, managing user access and permissions, and a couple of security tips to put in place for this busy time of year. Following today's session, I would encourage you to view our digital services help page for further information on the topics we discuss, as well as revisiting our previous webinars, and I'll show you how to find these at the end of today's session. You will see that the Teams chat function is disabled. However, you can ask questions using the Q&A tab, which is located at the top of the screen. My colleagues are online and will answer as many questions as possible as we go. We are also recording today's session, and the video and a copy of the question and answers, including any we're unable to answer during the session, will be published in ANZ Digital Services Help in the coming days, so you can rewatch or share with a colleague if they weren't able to join us live. And the last thing before we start, this session is being conducted using a training environment, which means some of the screens and the system behaviour may appear different to what you see in your live ANZ Transactive Global site. So please keep that in mind as we go. For anything outside of ANZ Transactive Global, we will show screens from Digital Services Help. Let's start the webinar thinking about the public holidays during December and January, and also being mindful of payment processing and cut-off times. Payment processing and cut-off times do vary and are determined by the geography where the payment originates, the payment method type, and the payment currency. So if we were to create a domestic payment, we can do this by navigating to the Payments menu from the main menu. Then select Domestic Payment. Select a division if required and the debit account, and then select the payment type. You will notice the value date field populates by default to today. However, you can select future dates by clicking later and selecting the desired date. The system intuitively disables non-business day value dates, for example, public holidays, bank holidays, and weekends. And you can see on my screen the 25th and 6th of December are both unavailable for selection. If we now look at the cut-off times, let's select today for this payment. And this will now display the cut-off time based on the payment type we have chosen. And the cut-off time is the time by which a payment needs to be in a processing status, which means it's been fully approved by all approvers. The time that displays is based on the time zone set in your settings and preferences, and I will show you shortly how to adjust this if required. And I would also recommend clicking on the information icon next to the payment method for additional information that relates to payment cutoff times. We also have an article in ANZ Digital Services Help, which I would like to highlight, and I will show you how to navigate to now. So click on the Help icon from the top right in the application banner. From the popular topics segment, select the article named Processing and Cutoff Times. Within this article, select your region, and this will allow you to view the different payment types and their associated cutoff times. I would also like to point out at the top of this article, the About drop-down. This contains additional information to help you understand this topic better, including if, when attempting to approve a payment that has passed or is nearing the cutoff, the approver will receive a warning message like what I'm showing on my screen. These will provide additional information to the approver to consider. For example, if the cutoff time has passed and the payment is approved, it will roll over to the next valid business date for processing. If you find you have missed the cutoff time, depending on the type of payment and where you are located, you may find there are alternative payment types, and let's take a look at these now. For our customers in Australia, if you are making a domestic payment after the cutoff time, an OSCO payment could be an option. OSCO payments allow you to transfer funds from your Australian domiciled AUD account, which is registered to ANZ Transactive Global, to an eligible beneficiary's Australian dollar AUD account in near real time, Monday to Sunday, 24 hours a day. OSCO payments can be submitted individually or in batches. However, batch payments are processed using individual debits, which results in a separate debit on your account for each payment instruction. So this makes it important to carefully consider if this payment type is appropriate to use. And due to an increasing demand for OSCO payments, ANZ has recently eliminated the payment limit, now allowing transactions of up to 500 million to be processed via this payment type. For our customers in New Zealand, a direct credit domestic payment allows you to transfer funds from your New Zealand domiciled New Zealand dollar account, registered to ANZ Transactive Global, to a beneficiary's New Zealand domiciled New Zealand dollar account. This payment type has a cutoff time of 9:30 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time and can be processed 7 days a week, including weekends and public holidays. So if you miss the cutoff time for this payment, it will be processed the very next day. Payments are submitted in batches and are also available in individual debits to your account. I promised earlier I would show you how to set your ANZ Transactive Global time zone. Let's do this now. Navigate to the application banner and click on the User Settings and Preferences icon, which shows as your user ID. Select Settings and Preferences, and in the Time Zone drop-down, select your time zone. So as I'm in Perth, I'm going to select the Beijing, Perth, Singapore, Hong Kong time zone, and then click Save. The processing and cutoff times will now show in my local time. I briefly mentioned earlier nominating a date in the future when creating a payment. Forward dating payments may also be an alternative when staff are on leave or during office shutdown periods. If I know I need to make a payment when my office is closed, to save logging on to create this payment and having to email a colleague or call a colleague to also log on and approve the payment, I can create a payment now, setting a date in the future for up to 120 days. Once this payment is approved, it will move to the Current Payments submenu in a future dated status. If I need to stop or edit this payment, I can do a couple of things. I can either right-click on the payment and from the context menu, select Stop. I can tick the checkbox and click Stop from Actions in the control bar. Or I can select the payment and click Stop. And this will return the payment to a draft status where it can either be cancelled or amended if required. During this busy time of year, many of our team members take leave for extended periods of time. Temporarily disabling their profile can assist in safeguarding your organisation's account and information by reducing the risk of unauthorised access. They will be unable to log into the system. However, any in-flight payments and direct debits this user created before they were disabled will continue to move through the payment approval and release process. Disabling and enabling access occurs immediately, so it can be used at any time a user goes on leave and returns to work. For our customers in Australia and New Zealand, an administrator can disable a user by navigating to the Administration menu, and then within the User Management submenu, they can disable a user by the following ways. They can right-click on the user and click Disable from the context menu. Tick the checkbox for a user, and then from the Actions button in the control bar, click Disable. Or click the user and click Disable from the control bar. Click Yes to confirm that the changes, and in your live site, a confirmation message will display indicating that this user is now disabled. And just to point out that no approval is required for this request time. When a user returns to work, or if they need to access the system during this time, the same steps can be followed to enable their access. With limited staff during this time, consideration should also be made to the number of people available to approve payments and also the number of administrators available to approve changes to features such as payment approval limits, user settings and permissions. To help manage this, you could first run a user summary report, which will provide details for users, including their roles and credentials. So from the administration menu, click Reports, and then click New. Select a user summary report for type. Select the file type and language, and if you need a file name prefix and a coding, add these as well. Click Add to select the users you would like to include in the report, or select all. Click Run Report Now to review the report. After reviewing this report, it may highlight the need to add additional users to support your organisation during this time. For our customers in Australia and New Zealand, this can be achieved with a digital service request, meaning no need to complete a form to create a new user. For users enabled with this permission, navigate to Service Requests from the main menu and select Digital Channels. And I'm now going to take you through the steps to create a new user. Click New, and then Add New User. Complete the user detail fields, noting those with an asterisk are a mandatory field for completion. Select the security device type you would like the user to be permissioned with, noting the information icon will describe each device type. And you will also notice the ANZ digital key is a recommended option. And this is because as soon as the request is complete, the new user will immediately have this permission to them. Add the permissions to the new user, and this can be achieved by either copying from an existing user or manually adding. Today, I'm going to copy from another user. Then I need to select the user I wish to copy from. Click OK. And I can now give this request a reference if I wish and click Next. A reference is important if you are lodging several requests to help you identify each request easily. Review the details, read the important information field, and tick the checkbox and click Submit. Once submitted, your service request will require approval as per your administration model before being sent to ANZ for processing. As the service request is processed, you will receive an email each time the service request status changes. To view comments or provide additional information requested by ANZ, select the service request. The Comments and Supporting Documents field will contain a comment for your review and possible action. And here is a screenshot from Digital Services Help to show you what this could look like. If Know Your Customer or KYC is required, this is where you will be notified and provided the options of how to achieve this. Supporting documents can also be uploaded into the message and submitted back to ANZ for processing. Once the request is complete, the new user can download and install the ANZ digital key on their mobile device. Another feature to support you during the festive period, during office shutdowns, and all year round if you work remotely, is the ANZ Transactive Global mobile app. The app allows you to view real-time account balances and transaction history, approve payments and obtain foreign exchange rates, just to name a few features. I do have a short video that I'd like to show you to help me demonstrate this. Let's start by looking at installing the app and securely logging on. The ANZ Transactive Global app can be found in both the App Store and on Google Play. It is compatible with iPhone mobile devices running on version 13 or later, and Android mobile devices running on version 9 or later. Please note that the app install availability is based on your country in the App Store, and for some countries the app is not available. You can start by searching ANZ Transactive Global in your App Store and then tap Get or Install and follow the prompts to complete the installation. And please note that downloading and using your app, you may be subject to relevant mobile data usage plan stipulations. Any potential charges in regards to this are solely your responsibility. Once the app has successfully installed, you can log in using your existing ANZ Transactive Global web ID and password. During the festive period, payments may also require approval remotely, and I would now like to show you how the mobile app can support you with this and also be a helpful tool for day-to-day use also. For our customers in Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific regions, you can approve payments with the mobile app. And let's now take a look at the approvals menu. Within the approvals screen, you can view, approve or reject payments, direct debits and trade transactions that are in a pending approval status. And we'll now look at how to approve multiple payments, direct debits or trade transactions. To navigate to your pending approvals, tap Approvals from the main menu and search through the list using any of the labels on the screen, such as payment day, date, amounts type, and name as shown here. Tick multiple transactions you wish to approve and then tap Approve and tap Yes to confirm the approval. As you can see here, the Approve with ANZ Digital Key option appears, prompting the approver to log into the ANZ Digital Key app to retrieve the code to release the payment. To approve a single payment, you can tap on the payment from the approval screen. Then tap Approve and tap Yes to confirm. The final approver will also be required to approve with their security device for release of the payment. Now, I won't show you these screens as the process is exactly the same from approving multiple payments. For our customers with commercial cards in ANZ Transactive Global, over the festive period, card or a cardholder permissions may require adjusting. For example, a cardholder may require an increase or a decrease to the limit of their card. To achieve this, eligible users with commercial card roles can create, view, manage, verify, approve and reject commercial card service requests. Navigate to the commercial cards menu, then click Service Requests. Click New and select the request type. So today I'm going to do a credit limit change. Choose the billing entity and then add the card holder or holders. In the new Limit Details field, select the limit type followed by the new amount, and noting the amount needs to be entered in multiples of $100. Nominate if this change will be permanent or temporary, and if it is temporary, change the nominate the effective date, the expiry date, and the limit the new card can revert back to. If required, add any comments and read and tick the declaration checkbox. Click Review and Submit. Review the details and then submit. This request will now move to a pending approval status and will require approval based on your organisation's approval process. But once this is approved, the request type will be processed immediately. The holiday period is also a time of opportunity for scammers. Staying vigilant and being alert during this time of year is particularly important. We have a range of risk management and security features that are available when using our digital services, including ANZ Transactive Global, and I will take you through a couple of these now. To stay up to date with new and changes made to beneficiaries in your pay list and other payment-related scenarios, an email notification can be sent to your registered email address. To set up this important feature, navigate to User Settings in the control bar. From the drop-down, select Notifications and Alerts. Navigate to Beneficiary Updates. Click to enable this feature, and you may wish to enable other notifications. As you can see here, we have several email notifications available. Please note that alerts are currently only available for the Pay To agreements. Click Save, and you will now start to receive an email notification each time a beneficiary in the pay list has been updated and approved, allowing you to validate that the change is legitimate. ANZ also has a dedicated fraud payments service team for you to contact immediately for support to mitigate fraudulent activity. They can be contacted directly through the Contact button in the application banner of ANZ Transactive Global. For users in Australia, it can digitally identify and verify you without needing to answer security questions or select from menu options in your keypad. Start by selecting the country you are calling from, so I'll select Australia, then select from one of the 5 topics. Select fraud or unusual activity, and by selecting this, you'll be provided a unique one-time phone number and access code to enter into your phone, and you'll be connected with one of our customer protection team. And for those on the call from other countries, when you select your region, a list of contact numbers will be provided for you to dial, and you will need to be identified by our teams. Please take a note of the operating hours of this team, and over the festive season, they will remain open, however, will be closed for national public holidays. This Contact Us option can also be used if you receive a call from someone claiming to be from ANZ. If you are ever unsure, hang up and dial ANZ from here. An important tip, ANZ will never ask for your password, PIN, or one-time password, OTP. Never provide these codes or access to anyone, even if they claim to work for ANZ. And ANZ will never ask you to install software for live chat or remote access purposes. I have a couple of other tips to share with you to keep in mind over the festive period. Did you know, if you have a report scheduled to be delivered on a public holiday, this will still be delivered on the scheduled date and time, meaning it will be in your inbox when you return to work. For any expected receivables during the festive period, please keep in mind any credits to your organisation's account over public holidays will be applied the next business day. However, if you've been sent an OSCO payment in Australia or a direct credit domestic payment in New Zealand, these payment types will be applied regardless of public holidays. And lastly, did you know, if your organisation is permissioned to enter forward exchange contracts, you are enabled to forward date your international payments, meaning this payment type can be set up for processing before your office closure. And lastly, I would like to show you ANZ Digital Services Help, which I've referred to during today's webinar. You can navigate to ANZ Digital Services Help from the Help icon in the application banner from your ANZ Transactive Global login. And this will open ANZ Digital Services Help in a new tab. ANZ Digital Services Help is an online self-service database of step-by-step guides, instructional videos, and frequently asked questions for our digital channels, including ANZ Transactive Global. A lot of the topics we've covered today can be found in our popular topics segment, including the ANZ Digital Key, processing and cut-off times. And I would also encourage you to take a look at the Digital Services Security Features tile, which includes all our security features, additional resources, and videos on this topic. Popular Topics also has a link to our status page. If at any time over the festive period you are experiencing difficulties with ANZ Transactive Global, please refer to the Digital Services status page, which provides up-to-date information about the operations of our institutional systems and services. Click on the digital service page hyperlink to show the current functionality of our systems, which is displayed using a traffic light type system. Today, the balance and transaction reporting for BPay is showing as yellow, and above this, you will notice a notification box. This contains additional information and support contact details. In reading this, the issue has been resolved. The notification, however, will remain posted to ensure if additional customers are impacted by this, they can reach out to our team for support. We have also recently updated our log-on screen to include maintenance and system outage notifications, which provides near real-time awareness of any planned system outages or technical issues. Maintenance announcements will be presented in blue, while incidents will appear in orange on the bottom left of the log-on screen. Also within popular topics, you can register for an upcoming webinar. By clicking on this tile, a list of current webinars and our previous webinar recordings are available. And that brings us to the end of our holiday planning tips for the festive season webinar. On the page I'm about to display is a list of our upcoming webinars, together with a QR code to register for these upcoming events. A reminder that a recording of this session, as well as the question and answers, will be added to ANZ Digital Services Help in the coming days, should you wish to revisit or share with a colleague. And you can get to Digital Services Help by scanning the QR code that is currently on the screen, or by clicking the help icon next time you are signed in to ANZ Transactive Global. As we wrap up our final webinar for 2024, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your attendance today and throughout the year. On behalf of ANZ, I wish you all the very best for 2025 and look forward to your presence at our webinars next year. Thank you.